My dear brothers and sisters, my name is Waris Khan. I am an ex-Muslim from Afghanistan. I thank you for this, brothers, that MNTV has invited me, that I shared my testimony, that you may change in some of your situation in your life, that if you confused like I was. As a child, I grew up in the Islam and the Imam family. My mother was very, very much interested to put me in madrasa, which is the school of religion. I read the Quran at the age of 5 and memorized it when I was teenagers, and reading every day, go to the mosque, and Imam was teaching us. So it was very hard for me to understand why it's by force. All things is by force. Sometimes Imam was beating us because we did not make purification in the water an appropriate way, which was the icy mountain, and we had to break the ice and get the water from the ice to making purification before we come to the mosque. However, that was a goal of my mother to I can become an imam, because all my relatives is in imam background. I grew up in imam family as an imam background until I had no problem with it. So bravely as a Muslim man, I come into this country, living with my family. I'm a Muslim follower, but they come in, and my daughter, I get married, I have children, and I have my daughter 7-year-old, and she's really sick. That time it brought me more of a closer and closer practicing my religion by reading more the Quran, Holy Quran, more fasting, more sacrificing. My mother was going to the Saudi Arabia for Hajj every year. She went to like 4 times, and the 5th time of a journey, she passed away over there. Each time she was going, the first years and second, that my daughter was sick, I asked my mother, do something, pray for my daughter. She sacrificed, my mother lamb sacrifice in Saudi Arabia, and for my daughter's sickness. She brought a lot of material for healing, reading the words of Quran, and the cup, the silver cup to drink water. We call it in our language Jam Dua, but it did not do any good. For she become better? No, she become more worse. I had to take her almost every week, 2 times in doctor, and we had a big tank by her bed and put in her nose oxygen. She was very, very hard time to go to the school. In the school we had the little medication taken with her and gave it to the teacher to make sure she's okay. So it was a question for me, why is my praise not answered? Something I do wrong in the religion? I don't pray enough? I don't sacrifice enough? I don't read Quran enough? Oh, I memorize all the word. What else is left? Where should I go? So one time my mother was the following year go, and I told my mother, would you please this time really, really find the truth and pray for my daughter that she can come better. And my mother said, okay, when the time to come to I go, I will let you know. I had a dream. I had a very bad dream. I had the dream that my mother is in Saudi Arabia in Mecca, which is go to inside the Kaaba for praying and for running the Hajj. And this is the situations happen that day after day I pray in the name of Allah, of God in Islam. Allah in Islam, I pray that my daughter can be healed. I didn't hear no pray. When my mother's going to Saudi Arabia, I cannot leave my children and I cannot take in my daughter because I have a life over here. And my mother go and I tell her to go sacrifice. And she go to sacrifice, and in the Mecca and lamb sacrifice. One time I dreamed that my mother is going to Saudi Arabia and I'm there with her. I'm inside of the Kaaba and I dreamed that everybody wearing black clothes. And why it's not supposed to be white? But I looking at it that inside the Kaaba, this is a stone or whatever it is laying as some kind of material with a silk design on it. I looking down, something is waving. I wonder what was it. I'm sorry, but this is what is my dream. I saw dragon in there. I escaped and running to looking to find my mother because the storm coming very heavy. Everybody was rushing in the bus to run away. That is the dream, that I found my sister and my mother and I hold their hand and I say, run for your life because everybody will be perished. As a fire is coming from everywhere. We went go to uphill and that hill was a room. Inside the room was light. And straight from the door inside there was a wall back and the cross of Jesus Christ was there. The light was shining. I was inside the room and my mother, sister outside. I wanted to hold her hand to bring her in. I say, come, he's the save. Everywhere else is a storm. Please come inside. My mother refused. It was very dream bad to me. 2 days later, 2 o'clock in the morning, my door got knocked. 2 o'clock in the morning, my little brother coming. And he said in Arabic, and I said, what happened? This is the word reading if somebody died. My mother died as I dreamed. She perished. I'm sorry. I hope I see her in heaven, maybe. My heart is broken because she refused. I am going through a lot of emotional after that, how I lost my mother. Why my prayer is not answered. What am I doing? And that's the moment that the pastor from Persian church come into my business. He handed me the Bible. I had it in the shelf. I was thinking about my mother and the situations. And something telling me to go and get this book and read it. I felt it and I read that book. When I read that book, it was a love letter to me because it's opposite of things that we read in Quran and Madrasa as a child. Totally different. It become not by force, anybody forcing me. It become by own will. I hold on to it. I put it down and I put the Quran, both of them together. I fall down on my face and I ask, oh God, I do not know what's happening to my life. I lost my mother. My daughter is sick. And I'm doing everything to she can get